Micah Frankel, CageMinds.com. ECS One is 8 days away. Joel Whitney's in the co-main event against Andrew Tenneson. Joel Whitney joins us now. Thank you for the time. How are you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling very strong. Very happy to be speaking with you, Micah.
8 days away. How you feeling? How's the camp been?
Camp's been really good. Got my training in. Been keeping that sparring up. Taping it down now. Not going to be training too much this last week. Going to be mostly relaxing, playing video games, that sort of thing. Training's been real good. Added in a few new tricks, refined everything. So, feeling good. Oh, I can't.
Moving back up a weight class, tell us about what that's been like.
Well, the cut has been much easier. So, that's nice. That takes it's not only that if you cut down a lot the water weight, it's not just that, you're losing all that water. You also, you have the added stress of knowing that that's coming, like, for 2 weeks out, and so, your nervous system's kind of jacked up all throughout that time. So the cut to 45 for me, it's still a cut, I still have to be pretty disciplined in the way I eat and the way I load my water and then take it off again. But it's much easier for me, and I feel much stronger coming into the cage. Not that I spent a lot of time in the cage last fight, but I felt good while I was there.
Where did you feel after the last fight from 35? Was it the moment right after that you realized this was just a horrible idea and you couldn't wait to get back to 45? Was it the cut, or was it after the fight, really, where you felt that the weight class was not suited for you?
Well, the cut, my body definitely felt different. See, I'd made 45 a few times before that, but I'd had an injury, like a long-standing injury that I'd had some issues with. I got with some strength conditioning coaches and kind of worked out a way to fix that, and that added some muscle to me. So for that cut to 35, I came in maybe, 3 or 4 pounds heavier with muscle, just weight I couldn't really take off. So that cut to 35, my body just felt strange that first day, the day of the fight, when I went in and got my first workout, got my first sweat in. It just, it wasn't recovering the same way. My legs felt kind of weird. So that was the main thing that prompted me down from, to go back up to 45 from 35. There are a lot of good fighters there. But at the same time, I was pretty strong there. But I did not want to, go back to, I didn't want to lose that muscle that I gained because I felt like my body was a lot safer with that on me. So 45 just kind of seemed like the most reasonable place to go. And at this level of MMA, I'm not really sure that, getting as much weight off as you can so you can come in as big as you possibly can is all that important. Once I get to a little higher level, if someone can show me a really good way to get to 35, I might go back to 35. Right now, especially with 2015, I'm just looking to get as many fights as I can. And, an easy cut to 45, I can do that 2 weeks out most of the time. I stay pretty, in a good range to hit 45. So it just feels, more natural for me, especially at this point in my career.
And then how did it feel the last fight? AAA MMA, getting back up to 45. How'd the body feel then coming into your last fight?
Well, it felt really good. Like I said, for the 35 cut, my body felt a little weird. I really didn't have that when I got my first sweat in that day. When I got in the ring, I felt pretty good. It would have been nice if the fight maybe would have lasted a little bit longer just to test that. For that reason, it might have been nice for the fight to last a little longer. But, it was just, felt just like any other day of training or sparring. My body did. It felt good. It actually felt better, because I'd taken a week off and I wasn't overtrained and my muscles and everything had a time to recuperate. So, it felt real good.
80 seconds, a rear naked choke submission. Tell us about the win over Isaac Barnes through your eyes.
Say it again? What?
80 seconds of work. You got the rear naked choke. Tell us about the win through your eyes.
Man, there really wasn't much to it. And after the fight, I was kind of surprised when people told me that they really liked that fight because it didn't seem to me like much happened. You know, I kind of went in there, tested his striking, let him throw a few shots, and then I realized the takedown was there, so I just went for it. You know, ducked under that hook and took him down. From there, he didn't seem to have very much grappling intelligence. I mean, he just kind of gave me his back and gave me his neck. So, you know, I just kind of waited there for a second on his back until I could sink that choke really tight, and I sunk it real tight, and that was it.
So you went from a tested wrestler in Steven Cervantes, who had a lot of competitive experience in grappling, to a striker who pretty fresh on the ground, to now you're taking on Andrew Tenneson, who's pretty versed in both areas, much like yourself. So where do you see this fight being won at?
Oh, I guess that would depend on who we're talking about winning it for. I'm not really sure. You know, I haven't seen the problem with making predictions with this early in the game is like not me or Andrew has really had a ton of fights, so we don't really know what the other guys can bring. As far as what I know about Andrew, he's gotten a lot of submission wins, so I imagine that's where he's going to want to take the fight. But at the same time, you know, I have a very strong submission game. My submission defense is really strong, so I'm really not worried about going there. If I can, you know, I'm always looking for that finish. I don't want to be in there for 3 rounds. I'd like to, you know, finish it and then go eat a sandwich as soon as I can.
So, heading into this fight, have you done much studying of your opponent? I know you guys, there's not too much that you can see what you've been through in your young careers, but have you looked into him?
You know, I always go into a fight with a game plan. So I have worked some specific things. You know, like if he does get me down, you know, I've worked what I need to do from there, and I've got a few little tricky things that me and Thomas Plus have been working with as far as submissions go, and my different type of strikes that I'm going to try to set up. So we'll see how those work out, you know, or if I even get a chance to use them. But, you know, other than that, just pretty much been sharpening everything up and trying to get it as, like, clean as possible to bring it into the cage.
Due to injuries getting moved up to the co-main event showcase, what's your thoughts on that spotlight?
Well, that's cool. That's pretty interesting. It should get us. I hope we, you know, I'm glad that for this fight, I'm fighting somebody who I believe is competitive as Andrew, because, you know, it takes 2 good fighters to have like a good fight. And I think for my career and most likely for his career, it's good to have, you know, a good, hard, competitive showcase of martial arts. That's what I'm really looking forward to. And just having that added spotlight, that's just going to get my name out there more and hopefully get more people seeing what I can do.
I was talking to Andrew, and it comes off one of those things that you guys are the same personality almost. We got 2 even guys. No one's going to be overtly aggressive, I believe. We won't see any, you know, punches thrown at the weigh-in. No, you know, headbutts or anything. You guys are martial artists, and it's a rarity to find 2 guys with the same kind of mentality.
Is it? I don't know. Like, most of the guys I train with are pretty much that way. So maybe I've been a little bit spoiled in that respect. Of course, you know, I live up here in Santa Fe where, you know, the hippies reign. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Is it?
Maybe I just got lucky with getting Tenneson.
I just usually find it that there'll be one guy that's respectful and the other guy will charge into his face. It just kind of seems to be how it works out.
You see, that's why I like to Y my opponent. That way, like, if somebody charges into me, I got my hands up. It's nice and structured that way.
So what's
then we don't have to have any, like, Daniel Cormier, Joan Bones, like, standoffs where someone gets in their face.
Right, we don't need to have melees and people being thrown through signs and stuff. Makes it interesting. But only once in a while. Special occasions type stuff, if you really gotta hate each other that much. But for ECS One, you're coming down here to Albuquerque. What's something you gotta get done in this fight to get the victory?
Oh, you know, I gotta keep my striking nice and crisp. I I'm not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure my striking is going to be a little bit better than Andrew's. So, as much as I can land on him, that's just going to stack everything in my favor. So that's one thing I'm really looking for, is just keep my combos really clean and make sure he moves right into them. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
You made your pro debut in March, then you fought again in September, now here we go in January. How much are you liking this, being able to keep on a kind of consistent pace of being able to stay active?
In the past, it's been a little bit of a strain. This is actually one of the first fights that I'm doing where I'm not also a full-time student. Pretty much almost all of my other fights, except for one, I was a full-time student during. So that pace is a little bit aggressive. But now that I got some more free time, it's good. I want to try to get as many fights as I can in 2015.
And then, how much of that also helped not having that extra, mental worry?
Sorry,
activity?
Mikey, you are coming in broken and unreadable. Could you say again your last?
Oh, I said, so what was it like now for this camp not having that extra something to focus on? You said you didn't have school this time, so what was it like fully getting to immerse yourself in the training?
Oh, it was just training, man. I just get in there, do my job, and do everything. I don't know. If anything, everything's cleaner in my head. There's not as many things going on, and I can just keep focused. So, I'm not worried about other things. There's not any other stressors. I remember for one of my fights against Ronnie Villahermosa over in King of the Cage, I was just sitting in class, and I was about to be, it was like a week out, and I don't remember a thing that the instructor was saying. I was just thinking of combos the entire time. So I knew when I got out, I was like, oh no, I don't remember anything about that class. So it's good just to not have that, so I can just think about fighting the whole time, and there's no downside to that.
Awesome. So with that, where have you been really focusing on improving while you've had your downtime? What was the area of your game that you looked at and you said, this is where I need to work on?
I've been, like I said, with Thomas Pless, been working on some unconventional submissions, some things that I don't think a lot of people have seen, just from the people that I roll with and the people that I have trained with. And I've been just working on catching angles with my striking, making sure that I'm hitting with as much power as I can, making sure I'm at that optimal range, and that I can just keep laying down hard shots and stay nice and fresh. I've also been changed up my conditioning a little bit for this fight. I've been doing a lot of energy system work, things like that. So you can expect to see quite a few big bursts of strikes, takedowns, whatever, and then, just keep that pace high.
So what is energy system work for people that don't know?
Oh, man, so, yeah, I could talk about this forever. My girlfriend, she makes fun of me because I go into this. But, the human body has three different energy systems. You got your aerobic system, you got your anaerobic glycolytic system, and you got your ATP PCR system. And so those are just the different ways that your body creates energy. So you got to train each one of those energy systems, or especially for MMA, because it's a very strange sport. As you well know, let's take a striker like Carlos Condit. He stays mostly in an anaerobic phase, right? Because he's just moving around striking, and he keeps about the same pace the entire time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you get more of a grappler like Johnny Hendricks, he pushes into a higher level energy system like the anaerobic glycolytic, which you can only stay in for a max of 2 minutes, even if you're an elite athlete. And so you have to train those individual energy systems, and that's actually a way that you can defeat fighters. I don't know if you've ever watched a documentary on lions taking down one of those large cows.
Yeah.
When all those lions jump on that cow, they're not ripping its throat out. What they do is they wait for it to get tired and fall to the ground, right? That's essentially kind of what a wrestler does to a striker. When they get you on that cage, they wear you down. They force you into an anaerobic state, in a state where you're not using oxygen to create energy. And, since they're more adept at that, they wear that striker out and then they can take them out. So, I mean, it's a lot of technical stuff, but that's kind of what I've been working on, just training those individual energy systems.
Fun.
Sorry to kind of went off there, but...
No, that was great stuff right there. That was awesome. I gotta thank you for the time. Thank you for the extra knowledge. Who did you need to thank coming into this fight?
Well, I want to thank Thomas Plus over at Santa Fe BJJ. He's been a lot of help. I think he's an underrated trainer, and he's been really good to me. Also, SCP of Santa Fe, a sport performance gym here. Anybody that's looking to increase their performance for sport, I really suggest you go over there. They have a lot of interesting equipment and ideas, and they'll get you where you need to be.
And then to the fans, why should they make their way out to the McCarran Event Center on the 24th?
Because me and Andrew are probably going to put on a dang war. I'm not saying it's going to go all 3 rounds, but at least it'll be exciting. I fully believe it will be a very exciting match. Plus, you got old Scrappy Doo Cervantes throwing down with that Brazilian guy, which I don't imagine they'd bring that guy all the way out here from Brazil if he was a pushover. So I really do think that's probably going to be a very interesting fight. And, everybody in Albuquerque loves Dorian Dixon, too, so that's just one of the reasons to come check out long-haired beauty.
Joel, thank you for the time. Best of luck, and we'll see you next week.
All right, you have a good day. I'll see you later.
Thanks.
Peace.